They broke up over something small. Years later, he returns to a quiet frontier town. Dust in the air, regret in his chest, and a door that should have stayed closed slowly opens. Behind it stands the woman he never stopped loving. And a child, who looks at him like she already knows his name. What happened in those lost years? Why did she never come after him? Or did she? And when the truth finally surfaces, will love survive what time has quietly built between them? Or shatter all over again? Before we dive into the incredible story, do not forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell button so you never miss our powerful, life-changing content. Thank you for listening to this heartfelt story. If it moved you, share it, comments below, and let someone know you are never alone. The wind tasted like dust and memory. It carried the scent of dry grass and something softer, something I had buried years ago. Name. I stood at the edge of the old frontier road, boots sinking into cracked earth, sun pressing hard against my skin, like a question I never answered. All of it felt the same, and yet nothing was. We ended over something small, a sentence spoken too quickly, silence held too long, a door closed without turning back. I remember the sound, sharp, final. I told myself it meant nothing. Years proved otherwise. The town looked smaller now. Wooden fences leaning with age, windows clouded with time, and kindness worn thin by survival. Still, there were people here, gentle eyes, quiet hands, souls that understood pain without asking. An old woman passed me. She smiled, as if she saw the weight I carried, as if she knew. My chest tightened. Then I saw it. Her house, still standing, still stubborn against the years. Just like her, my breath caught, not soft, not slow, sudden pull, deep and unsettling, like the earth shifting under my feet. The door moved, just slightly. Sound followed, not the wind, something closer, familiar. My heart stumbled, then raced, then froze. The air grew heavy, thick with something unspoken. Every step forward felt wrong and necessary. I reached the porch. The wood creaked, louder than it should, echoing like a warning or a memory. My hand lifted, hesitated, and the door opened wider, and there she stood, older, yes, but her eyes changed. They met mine, and in that single moment, everything returned. The laughter, the warmth, the mistake. Her lips parted, breath, almost a word. Behind her, something shifted in the room. Shadow, movement, a life I never knew. The realization struck, sudden, sharp, unforgiving. I stepped forward, heart breaking open, and she whispered my name, as if it had never left her, as if time had only been waiting for this exact moment. And just as I reached for her, something inside me trembled, a truth rising, heavy, unstoppable, because the years between us had not been empty, and whatever waited behind her eyes was only beginning to be seen, because whatever waited behind her eyes carried years I never touched, and years have weight. Felt it, pressing into my chest, unforgiving. She stepped back, just a little, enough to let me see inside. The room smelled of cedar, and something faint, something warm, like bread left too long on the fire. A life lived quietly, without me. My boots crossed the threshold, low, uncertain, every sound sharpened. Floorboards whispered. A kettle trembled somewhere deeper in the house. Wind brushed the walls, like it was trying to listen. She watched me, careful, measured, as if one wrong move would break something fragile, still holding between us. I waited, she said, tough, but it landed hard. I swallowed, felt the dryness in my throat, the ache of words that never found their way back then. I thought it was nothing, I answered. My voice fell, like it belonged to the man who left. Her eyes flickered. Pain, yes, but also something deeper, stronger, understanding, and that hurt more. A small laugh escaped her. Not bitter, not kind, just tired. We lost years, she said. Not accusing, just true. Behind her, that movement came again. Clearer now. A shadow crossing light. Quick, alive. My pulse surged. Something shifted inside me. Quiet fear. Or maybe hope wearing a different face. She turned her head slightly, as if listening to the same thing. Then back to me. And for a second, I saw it. The life she built. The strength she carried. The love she gave. Somewhere. To someone. My chest tightened again. Sharper this time. Regret moving through me. Slow and deep. Like a blade learning its way. I never stopped. The words slipped out. Incomplete. But full. She closed her eyes. Just for a breath. And when they opened, they held everything. Past. The loss. The question still standing between us. Another sound. Closer now. Footsteps. Light. Uncertain. Coming toward us. My heart pounded. Loud enough to drown reason. Her hand lifted slightly. Not toward me, but toward whatever approached. And in that fragile space, between what was, and what could never be undone, I realized, the smallest mistake, had grown into something vast, something living, something that would not let us return unchanged. The footsteps stopped, right behind her, and she whispered, barely there, "Wait, wait." Her voice trembled, not from fear, but from the weight of what came next. The silence stretched, thin, ready to break, and a small hand appeared, curling gently around the edge of her dress. My breath caught, sharp and steady. The world narrowed. To that single moment, child stepped forward, low, hesitant, eyes wide with quiet curiosity. The same eyes, her eyes, and something in them, familiar, something that struck deep, like a truth I had spent years outrunning. My chest tightened, then hollowed. Every sound faded, even the wind, even my own breath. Only the rhythm of my heart remained, loud, uneven, demanding to be understood. The child looked at me, longer than a stranger should, as if searching, as if sensing, as if knowing without words. Her hand found the woman's fingers, holding tight, safe. My voice tried to rise, but stayed trapped, behind the sudden storm inside me. She watched me carefully, not turning away, not hiding, just waiting, always waiting. I named her Hope, she said. Tough, steady. The words settled between us. Hope echoed through every empty year, every lonely night, every moment I convinced myself that leaving was easier. Hope, standing there, breathing, real. The child tilted her head, still looking at me, and something inside me shifted, not breaking, opening. Pain moved through me, slow and deep, but it carried something else now. Fragile warmth, dangerous in its tenderness. I stepped closer, careful, like approaching something sacred, something I had no right to touch. The floor creaked again, louder this time. The child flinched slightly, then stilled, watching, always watching. Knelt, bringing myself lower, closer to her world. My hands trembled, unfamiliar with gentleness after so long. "Hello," I said. The word felt small, against everything I meant. She blinked, and tiny step forward. Her grip loosened, just enough. The woman behind her inhaled sharply. Quiet sound, filled with memory, and something like fear, or hope. The child reached out, low, uncertain. Her fingers brushed mine, warm, real. A shock ran through me, not sudden, but deep, spreading through every part of me that had once believed love could be left behind. My breath faltered. The room shifted again. Or maybe it was just me, trying to understand, trying to catch up to a life that had kept moving. Without asking me, her small hand rested in mine now, light, fragile, yet it held a weight I could barely carry. I looked up. Her. The woman I once loved. The woman who stood before me now. Stronger, softer, changed. Her eyes met mine, and in them, question formed, not spoken, but impossible to ignore. 'Cause this moment, this fragile, breathing, unfolding moment, was only the beginning of everything we had yet to face, and everything that still waited, just beyond the next word. And everything that still waited, pressed closer. I felt it in the air, unforgiving, alive with all the words we buried. Hope's fingers curled slightly, trust finding shape, without permission, without history, held still, afraid one movement might shatter it. She watched us, her breath uneven now, like she stood on the edge of something vast. You came back, she said. Not surprise, not relief, just truth, the kind that carries years inside it. I never left, I answered, quiet, because some part of me had stayed here, in this dust, in this silence, in her. Her gaze softened, then tightened again, as if memory and reality refused to agree. Hope stepped closer, her shoulder brushing my knee. Small contact, but it sent something through me. Deep, steady, irreversible. What is your name? She asked. Simple, clear. The question landed heavier than anything before. My throat tightened. The past stood behind me. The future stood in front. And this small voice waited between them. I spoke, gave her my name, and watched it settle into her, as if it belonged there, as if it always had. She repeated it, slowly, carefully, testing its shape, then smiled, soft, unguarded. It broke something open inside me. The woman turned away slightly, just enough to hide the way her hand pressed against her chest. But I saw it, felt it, the same overwhelming truth. We had built lives, apart, yet somehow still around each other. I told her stories, she said, her voice quieter now, almost fragile, about kindness, about mistakes, about choosing to stay when it matters most. Each word found its mark, precise, unavoidable. Hope looked between us, curious, as if trying to place us inside something she already believed. The room seemed smaller, holding us together, closer than comfort allowed. Another gust of wind pressed against the walls. The door shifted behind me. Low creak, long, drawn out, like time reminding us. It never stopped. I stood slowly, reluctant to let go, yet unable to stay where I was. Hope's hand slipped from mine, but not completely. Her fingers brushed mine again, lingering. Then she stepped back, closer to her, always to her. I understood. I had not earned anything here. Not yet, maybe never. The distance between us changed, not wide, but heavy, filled with everything unsaid. I can leave, I said. The words felt wrong, even as they formed. Her head lifted quickly, sharp, alive. No, she said. Immediate, certain. The sound echoed, through the room, through me, through every year we lost. Hope looked up at her, then at me. Something shifting again, something becoming clearer, stronger. And as the light shifted across the floor, touching all three of us, binding us in a moment neither past nor present could fully claim, I realized this was no longer about what we had been. It was about what stood here now, breathing, watching, waiting, and the next step, whatever it would be, would change everything, in ways I was only beginning to understand. The light shifted again, softer now, slipping through the worn curtains, touching her face, and Hope's, then me, like it refused to choose. Silence settled, not empty, full, carrying every heartbeat, every breath we tried to steady. She moved first, one step closer, careful, like approaching something that once broke in her hands. I learned to live, she said, her voice steady, but her eyes held the tremble. Even with the missing pieces, the words landed slow, not sharp, deeper than that. Hope leaned into her side, small fingers gripping fabric again. Grounded, safe. I nodded, because I saw it now. The life she built, not perfect, not untouched by pain, but real, strong in ways I never stayed long enough to become. I was angry, I said, each word deliberate, honest, at you, myself, at the silence that grew between us. The air thickened again, but this time, did not choke. Listened. Her gaze dropped, just for a second, then returned. I waited for you to come back that day, she said. Almost lost in the room. I thought you would turn around. My chest tightened. That moment, so small back then, now towering, unavoidable. I kept walking, I answered. The truth felt heavy, but clean. No place left to hide it. Hope watched us both, quiet, absorbing something she could not yet name. The wind outside rose again, stronger, rattling the edges of the house, like the past knocking louder now, demanding to be seen. She stepped even closer, close enough that I could see the faint lines time had written beside her eyes. Not age, experience, strength. You left over something small, she said, not accusing, just placing it between us. So did you, I replied. Pause. Then something unexpected. A breath of laughter. Fragile, almost forgotten. Changed the room. Just a little. Enough. Hope looked up at her, then at me. And slowly, she smiled again, as if she understood something neither of us fully could yet. I reached out, not to hold, not to take, just to be there. My hand hovered between us, waiting. She looked at it, then at me. A long moment passed, stretching, tightening, shaping itself into something new. And, carefully, she placed her hand in mine. Warm, familiar, different. The years between us did not disappear. They stood with us, witnessing. But they no longer stood alone. Hope stepped closer again, her small hand finding both of ours. Connecting, simple, unplanned, complete. And in that fragile joining, something shifted. Not a return, not a beginning, something else, something uncertain, alive, unwritten. The house creaked around us. The wind softened. The light held steady, as if the world itself paused, watching, waiting, for what we would choose next. And as her fingers tightened slightly around mine, and Hope's grip held steady between us, I felt it clearly. This moment was not asking for the past. It was asking for courage, for truth, for something neither of us had given before. And just as I opened my mouth, ready to step into whatever came next, Hope's voice rose softly, breaking the stillness, with a question that changed everything again. Are you staying? Her voice was small, but it carried through the room, clear, steady, unafraid. My breath paused. The world seemed to lean in, waiting. Her hand remained in mine, warm, anchored, real. I looked at her, then at the woman beside her. The past stood behind her eyes. The future stood inside Hope's. And I stood between them. No place left to hide. The word faltered, not from doubt, from the weight of meaning, because staying was never just staying. It meant facing every silence, every wound, every moment we chose distance over truth. Her fingers tightened slightly, not pulling away, not holding harder, just there, present. The woman watched me. No demand, no plea, only openness, the kind that comes after surviving loss, not avoiding it. I want to, I said. The honesty landed first, before certainty, before promise. Her expression shifted, something guarded, softening. Hope tilted her head, studying me again, as if measuring the space my words created. The wind eased outside, leaving a quiet that felt different now. Less heavy, more expectant. But wanting is not enough, she said. Gentle, firm. The truth of it settled around us. I nodded, 'cause she was right. Wanting had never been the problem. Staying had been. I know, I answered, my voice steadier now. I know what it asks. Hope's gaze moved between us, sensing the change. Even if she could not name it, she stepped forward again, closing the smallest distance. Her free hand reached out, touching my sleeve, like, curious, as if confirming I was still there. I did not move, did not break the moment. The woman inhaled slowly, then exhaled, years leaving her in that single breath. Then do not leave this time, she said. Not a command, boundary, a truth placed carefully, but firmly. The words settled into me, taking root where excuses once lived. I will stay, I said, and this time, the words did not feel fragile. They felt earned, even before they were proven. Hope smiled, brighter now, warmer, as if something inside her relaxed. Accepted, she moved closer still, until there was no space left between us. 3 lives, standing in one shared moment. The floor creaked again, but softer now, like the house itself had changed its mind. The light shifted once more, wrapping around us, gentle, steady, and yet, beneath it all, felt it, the truth still unfolding, because staying was only the first step, and everything that came after, every choice, every test, every quiet moment where old habits tried to return, was already waiting, just beyond this fragile beginning. And as Hope's hand slipped fully into mine, and hers remained steady in the other, I realized, this was not where the story healed. This was where it would be tried, again and again, until love proved itself stronger than the past, or the past reached out, one more time, to see if we would break again. The wind returned, but softer now, like it had learned gentleness. Days passed, and more, not quickly, not easily. Each morning carried a question. Each night asked for truth. I stayed, not perfectly, but fully. Hope's laughter began to fill the spaces, where silence once lived. Light, bright, unafraid, she ran through the fields, dust rising behind her, turning back, again and again, to make sure I was still there. And every time, it was. The first storm came without warning. Rain against the roof, sharp, restless. The past always chooses moments like that. She stood by the window, arms crossed, eyes distant. You used to leave when things felt heavy, she said. No anger, just memory. I felt it then. The old instinct, quiet, familiar, whispering of distance. I took a step toward the door. Thump. The sound of rain grew louder, pressing against my chest. Then I turned back, low, certain, and walked to her instead. I am still here, I said, not loud, but unshakable. She looked at me, really looked, as if searching for the man who once walked away, and finding someone else. Something in her broke, not pain, relief. She stepped closer, then closer still, until the distance was gone. Hope appeared beside us, small hand slipping into both of ours, like she had done that first day. Only this time, there was no hesitation. The storm passed, as all storms do, leaving the air clean, and something inside us stronger. Seasons turned, the house changed, laughter settled into its walls, warmth lived in its corners, and the past, it never vanished, but it softened, lost its sharp edges, became something we carried, not something that carried us. One evening, as the sun fell slow across the land, Hope sat between us, quiet for once, thinking. Then she looked up. Why did you come back? Simple, honest. I looked at her, then at the woman beside me. and answered, "Because I learned that small moments are never small, and love, once lost, does not disappear. Wait until we are brave enough to choose it again." Hope smiled, satisfied, certain. And in that moment, I understood the truth fully. Love does not fail in the big moments. It fades in the small ones. The words we hold back, pride we choose, the steps we refuse to take. The lesson is simple. A. When it feels easier to leave. B. When silence feels safer. Choose love, again and again, even when it asks more than comfort. Because sometimes, the smallest mistake can cost years, but one honest choice, one moment of courage, can begin to give it all back.